Welcome to 5 Year Club episode number 37, a prime episode bad math joke. It occurred to me when thinking about my video last night on taxes that when I discussed, a management fee of 1% or a difference in a portfolio's return of 2% due to taxes, that a lot of people looking at that are going to say 1%, it's not that big of a deal. 2%, it's not that big of a deal. It's 1 out of 100. Who cares? And that's a very intuitive way of thinking about it, but it's a completely wrong way to think about it because of the way that the math works out. So I wanted to show you how the math works out. What I've done here is I've modeled someone who, for 40 years, say 22 to 62, contributed $1,000 a month to retirement, or just savings, or whatever you want to call it, and they got a market return of 9%, which if you look at the market average over 40 years, 9% is not unreasonable. Then what I did is I broke out the slices of their final nest egg that can be attributed to each percentage point of return that they received. So if you get the full 9%, you get the whole pie. If you get no return at all you get is this slice here of the money that you put in. And when you look at it from this point of view, you'll realize several things. 90% of the money at the end for retirement is due to growth, not due to what you actually put in terms of dollars yourself. And if you only get 8% return, which is all this money right here, instead of 9% return, you've lost 25% of your nest egg. You've lost about $1 million. So, if we look at, VTI, this is the index fund, and then this is the private mutual fund by Edward Jones. This 1% management fee right here, compared to this little thing, so this is about 1.04% more, that's your $1 million. That's this right here. If Edward Jones was giving you exactly the market average and only charging their management fee, they would take about $1 million from you. They would take about 25% of your final nest egg in management fees. If you invested this money, and so let's talk about the taxes now. If you invested this money in VTI for 40 years, you would get the whole thing, or you would get more than the whole thing, because VTI is doing 9.97% and I only went up to 9%. If we account for taxes, so 9.97 down to 9.47 for the index fund, that's a 0.5%. So if you're not in a tax shelter, you're going to lose about half of this, which is about 10%. So that sucks. That's not good. But it's a lot better than the private mutual fund scenario, where you're losing a full 2%. You're losing a third. So with an index fund, taxes, the difference is you're losing 10%, about half of this percentage point. And with the private mutual fund, you are losing 2 full percentage points, about a third of your nest egg, depending upon whether you're in a tax shelter or not. That's why this difference in their performance is so huge, because they want you to pay them 1%, which is $1 million over 40 years, and their expertise loses 2 full percentage points beyond that if you're not in a tax shelter. Whereas if you were just in the market average, the maximum exposure to taxes would be this, thing right here, and a 0.04% management fee. It's some tiny little sliver in addition. Whereas you're losing all of this in that scenario in the private mutual fund. You're losing over half. Except that they are not even doing, at their best, 9.97%. They're doing 3.5% worse. So, when you account for, so come up here and we say the private mutual fund, you lose 1 percentage point, 2 percentage point, 3 percentage points. Say now we're down to like their maximum performance, and then we lose our tax shelter. Bam, bam, and then we have a management fee. Bam. You're losing over 75% of your money to all these things over the period of 40 years. And granted, I think that you can safely say that that tax hit is incompetence. It's not malice. They don't have a reason to give that money to the government. And the management fee of 1%, I think, is just greed. Maybe you could call that malice. I don't know. But point is, they're not doing very well. They're not doing very well. And you know, they're people in suits. Here's the management team. Robert M. Boyda. And, you know, they look like very suited up people. They've got degrees, you know, chartered financial analyst. And, you know, very easy to talk to. I'm sure he's a great sales guy. But these numbers don't lie. These percentage points really matter when you're talking about investment returns over a working lifetime of 30 or 40 years. So when you look at an investment return and you see that it changes by 1%, remember that 1% is easily 25%, 20%, 15% of your final nest egg. And kind of no matter how you crunch these numbers, it's always going to, you know, the difference between 5% and 4%, if you're modeling a maximum of 5, it's always going to be at least around 25%. So 1 percentage point is a quarter of your final net worth. 1 percentage point matters quite a lot. And when you're talking about investment returns. So it's not 1 out of 100. It's more like 25 out of 100. And if you didn't know that before, now you know. I haven't talked about 2 other sources of loss, which is trading costs and market timing costs. Trading costs are the cost to actually trade these stocks because the private mutual funds tend to turn over stocks a lot more often. And market timing costs are losses due to private mutual funds trying to time the market. This index fund is a formula, so it doesn't time the market. It doesn't try to buy low and sell high. It just holds the market, whatever that market is. But these also contribute a great deal to investment losses, these trading costs and market timing costs. I'm going to link to some books in this description so you can read about it in more detail yourself if you want to. That's it for the video today. Enjoy your Friday. Hope this was helpful. Bye-bye.